Okay, I'm just going to say I don't trust OBS shortcuts now. It's the second week I've tried to make them work. So, welcome to the KOTE Show.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to the KOTE Show. This is the first KOTE Show for KOTE 8. We started doing the KOTE Show at the start of KOTE 7 to give her your weekly, daily dose of vitamin K, as Brett always likes to say. And we're aiming to get today is to kick off KOTE 8, go through the format, go through the teamings, go through the pairings. We've got a little bit of news. We don't have a feature game this week because, well, quite frankly, we wanted to have a chance of finishing it show before midnight. How have you been? How have you been, Brett?
We wanted to get done for it. There was a lot of stuff we wanted to get done for today, but we had a lot of reasons why we couldn't. My little boy injured himself in Tesco's, so that was a hell of a rendition. And I'm no longer bound by an NDA. My wife got hired by Magic the Gathering to make exclusive content for TikTok, and I ended up getting a load of cards for Magic the Gathering, which I'm never going to use. Which is really cool.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome that her TikTok stuff has taken off so well. Let's hope she can do some FFG stuff for Keyforge in the future.
Oh, I would absolutely love it if FFG want to do a content creation thing like Magic the Gathering did. I'll happily accept the cards on my wife's behalf.
Yes, it's so sure. I'm sorry there is no Tombola, Mr. Kong. We are a few seasons past the Tombola. So, Brett alluded to that we've had some challenges today. We designed a KOTE 8 format for realistically 73 players. That's what I planned.
Yeah. Ideally. We took the number that we got for KOTE 7 and we're like, what formats would be fun with this roundabout number?
We have 90 teams, 270 players, just over 2,600 decks, if assuming each deck is unique, which it doesn't have to be does in the same team in the same round.
Yeah, if every player changes their deck throughout round robin alone, that's over 5,600 decks. That's amazing.
I mean, and I also promised you all that we would not have more than 9. We would not have 9 rounds of round robin, or more than 9 rounds of round robin.
Yes. Which I have to remind you about.
Yeah, it's been a busy day, so we'll go through how we solved all these later. But let's start with, as we always start with, is the news. Let's start with the stuff that we. Well, let's know. First of all, let's talk about for any of you that are first timers watching this show. This is where Brett and I go through the highlights of the week, not just from KOTE, but also from the Keyforge itself. So we generally start off talking about any news items that come out that are interesting, any events that are taking place, any results from events. And we try and bring everything together to sort of give you a central place to see where tournaments are and what's going on. After that, we normally then have go through some metrics from laptops from Baguette and Switch. I think he's from Nantes in France. He puts out some metrics about the KOTE event every week. And then we have a featured game, or featured 1 match, 3 games that we go through, commentate over, and interview the teams, and talk about the decks that are being played. And thanks to Can't Touch This for doing this for KOTE 7, and we're hoping they'll be able to continue this for KOTE 8. We're just waiting for the confirmation. And then we normally go through the results of the KOTE, where we stand, the standings, and all that good stuff. What the next pairings are, and where things are. So that's the rough format for the show. And yes, it changes. So we try and do a quiz once per season as well. We did our quiz last time, and I've already forgotten who won the quiz last time, Brett.
Frannel of the Can't Touch This, of the winning Can't Touch This KOTE 7 team, who didn't get to play his game.
Because they post conceded, yeah.
Yeah. And then unfortunately came across me on Saturday.
Yeah, we'll get on to
but
that.
We'll get into that a little bit on.
So let's jump onto these. Look, guys, if you've got any questions, bring it in the chat. Brett and I will keep an eye on that throughout as we go through. We've following that same rough format today, but we've got a lot of stuff to go through. So we're going to start with talking about the Swindle event. So do you want to go with that, Brett?
Yes. So the Swindle team, who have got 2 teams in KOTE 8, running on Sunday at, I believe, 2 p.m. EST, 7 p.m. GMT, a 2-deck survival with 75 SAS cap. Just basically bring 2 decks that have got 75 or less SAS and As long as you've got a deck left in the event, you can keep playing.
Wow.
They run fortnightly events, usually tailoring the event to other events going on within the community. So this is kind of mirroring what KFPL are doing, which we'll go into a little bit later. And they've also done SAS caps in the over the last couple of weeks to match what we were doing ready. So it's sort of like a testing ground and a ground that you can go into to play some of the best players in the community and prepare for events that are coming up.
Yep. So, and on that, let's move on to the KFPL one now. So. There we go. So this is the KFPL event that is well, let me go back to that picture briefly. That is running this weekend. Jupiter's put another awesome format together. We're looking forward to seeing how it goes, where you're running as a two-person team, squad, pair, and you're trying to compete to see which team can forge the most keys. What's your thoughts on this, bro? I think it's an interesting format.
It's a really, really interesting point system where it's not about your wins or losses to a certain extent. A team that has one player constantly win and one player constantly lose can do worse than a team that has both players lose but forge more keys. It's going to be quite interesting to see how this point system works, and it's going to lead to draws, and it's going to be quite interesting to see how KFPL handle it if there are some high-end draws. But it's a really interesting system to see how it goes.
They'll have no issue handling this, man, I'm sure, and I look forward to it.
No.
Unfortunately, this weekend I'm tied up, I'm afraid. But otherwise I would probably be there. But no, good luck, guys. We really want to support you through this, guys, and let us know who wins, and we'll announce them.
As Mr. Kong brought it up, Archon's Corner are doing their side pot. The side pot has closed because we've closed registration, but I believe there are five teams that have entered the Archon's Corner side pot to win the Dis OP kit.
I think it's more than 5.
Is it more than 5?
According
to their Discord, they've only got 5 people on there. But if they've got a capital AC in their name, chances are they're taking part in the side pot.
So, I'm just going to have a quick look at this because I'm curious. 1, 2, 3.
Well, we can do it as we go for the groups, can't we?
I suppose we can. That reminds me, we need to do that. So, next on the list we have AFK. So, AFK is the Association of French Keyforge, or Association of Keyforge, which is the French group. They have a weekly tournament. This time it is what they're calling Keycraft. This time it is simply a sealed tournament. However, players will be able to customize their decks because it will use mass mutation only. Each player will be given 3mm decks, all with the exact same SAS rating of 65. And you have to... What the hell is just happening? Okay, my Discord has just decided to update itself, so we may have lost Brett. Give me 1 second.
You back?
I'm back. It's you that left, technically.
No, according to mine, you left the call.
Nope. My Discord restarted.
Your Discord restarted. Okay. Sorry, guys, technical issues.
So anyway, each player will get 3 mass mutation decks, all with the exact same SAS rating. And they have to pick one to use in the whole tournament. They will then be able to choose where they want to place their enhancement pips, as long as it produces a valid deck. I mean, all cards marked as enhanced the deck just have to get at least 1 pip. Also, it's not possible to place more than 5 pips on the same card. Actually, it's merely the standard restrictions of TCO. And also, as we are in a seal, deck lists will be hidden in games. This happens on this Thursday at 8 PM GMT +1. The event ticket is $5 or €5, and there's a shadow prize kit to win. I really hope I can make it. To be honest, it sounds fascinating.
That's actually really cool.
That's the picture I was looking for. But yeah, do you want to talk about the Bitsy one where I queue up the next thing we need to talk about?
Which one?
The Bitsy, the Keyforge Marathon.
Oh, so yeah, Board Game in the City. Basically, we're a week on Saturday. Board Game in the City are doing a 24-hour game, a Keyforge gaming marathon, where we're taking donations and we're having players come in, and we're going to do a raffle for people taking part and those that donate to essentially raise money for Board Game in the City, because as they've been throughout the pandemic, while they've been closed and while they've not been able to trade to the same extent they have, they've become pillars in the community. They've been offering support to people that need it. They've been food, basic things along those lines. They've gone out of their way to help their community, and John and Ivana, I want to say how you pronounce it, are going above and beyond to try and make this 24-hour Keyforge event go along. I've signed up. There's a few other people signed up. It is in our Discord as well. I'll make sure that we get that promoted again. But basically, you can come along, you can play, and if you want to donate, please do. It's to help an amazing store out that is doing the best it can for its community.
Awesome. Thanks so much for that, Brett.
Nice.
So, Ivana may be here to take questions. Red Panda says they thought we would advertise a live stream in the KOTE Discord. I'm fairly sure you did. So
we did in the community promotion channel.
We try not to span everything, Red Panda, but it's a fair point.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go on to the almighty KOTE. The format.
We're not going to talk about ABR and Can't Touch This and all these other events that happened.
They were on my notes you gave me. All right, man. Let's talk about.
I literally mentioned them when we were set up. So,
okay, let's talk about Can't Touch This then, man. Go for it.
Can't Touch This had their first goodbye to Dis event this weekend. It was a 70 cap SAS that must contain Dis, and the 24 people turned up. Absolutely amazing. They expected a little bit more, but we can understand why not that too many people turned up. And it was a lot of fun. I jumped in at the last second. I brought what some people would consider a not fun deck. I ended up taking on some of the key members of Can't Touch This, and it was really high-end gameplay. I absolutely loved every game I had in there. Dominic and Rob were streaming the entire thing in Polish. They did do some phrases in English for me. The person that went on to win it was Dominic, who had a very oppressive controller deck with double control of the week and a lot of Shadow Steel. He beat me in Swiss. I managed to get into the top 4, managed to get to the finals, and then he just destroyed me in the finals. If you want to see what the definition of a one-sided game, go look up the Can't Touch This final from the weekend. Coming up this weekend at 5 PM GMT, they have 60 SAS reversal that must contain this.
Is that max or minimum?
That's minimum. Minimum 60 SAS reversal. Wow. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Fraddle, who won the quiz, it was my first opponent that was streamed, and it was just my deck just was on point in that game, which was a lot of fun to do. And everybody there was really welcoming. They knew that I didn't speak the language, so they did their best to accommodate me. And yeah, it was a lot of fun and really high-end gameplay. And moving on to ABR, which is one of the most high-end tournaments you're going to get on here. they had their finals over the weekend and are starting their next league now. There's Flaming Hobo, because he said this stuff here. So, the two finalist teams, which were Team Z-Force and Team Set Stunners, they had essentially a knockout style tournament. The Z-Force agents and Set Stunners both brought 10 players, and basically the last player standing won. So basically they kept going until the other team had no players left. And the finals came down to one team Z-Force agent versus one team Set Stunner. So they kept knocking each other out all the way down until there was only one player left each. And Team Z-Force agents were able to pull it out. And it must have just been one hell of a game, because it went for 5 rounds until there was only one player left. That is just absolutely nuts.
Sounds like it, man.
I have added more channel points rewards. We've got posture checks. We've got the ability to make me take off my hat, which is why I'm wearing one.
Please don't do that. Please don't make him take his hat off. You don't want to see what happens.
Also, we've got for 2,000 points, you've got the ability to time someone out, which I think is fun.
So, anything else I've missed off my to-do list for the cliff notes for this today, or is that all the key ones?
Not off the top of my head, but it might come back a little bit later.
Sure. Okay, so now.
God damn you, Jupiter!
What's he done? Taking your hat off.
You made me take my hat off.
Oh God, no. So now we're going to talk about KOTE. So KOTE, we've had 90 teams sign up, as I said, and this is unbelievable. And you sit here and going, if we have 8 groups, that's 11 team people in most of the groups and 12 in one. And then if we do round robin as we promised, then that will then be 10 to 11 rounds of round robin. And after 7 weeks, no one will be playing because they'll be bored. Was the feedback I got off many people when asking what we should do about this. So, Brett and I...
Also the fact that once you went to above 10 rounds, the SAS got to the point where it was getting to the really competitive decks, which is what people wanted to avoid this time.
Mm-hmm. So Brett and I panicked for like 2 hours today. And I came up with the... Well, I didn't actually give Brett the option. I said, we're doing this, and he didn't say no. It's the best answer.
It was the best answer, unless we hit 100 teams. If we hit 100 teams, we had a solution at 100 teams, and we had a solution at 80 teams. In between was the issue.
At 90. So what we're doing this time is we're going to extend it. So as some of you may have seen on Discord, there's going to be 12 groups this time.
Yes, nobody on Discord actually pointed out. We have 12 groups we've brought in. The Brobnar group is back. We've got Brobnar back. Brobnar
it's
now
not so much back.
Group.
It's the first time they ever had a group.
Yeah. Brobnar now has a group. Unfathomable has a group.
The Inspired has a group. And the Skyball.
Yes.
And we are aiming... Every group has 7 or 8 teams in it. And each group is still location-based. Ish.
As much as we could do. A big thanks to all the teams that were willing to be paired with teams outside of their time zones. You've made this a lot easier for us. So, I mean,
I'll be honest. We have 3 American groups, 5 European, 2 Asia Pacific. We've had an unbelievable large number of teams come in from Vietnam. We have 5 Vietnamese teams, which, 2 events ago, we had none. We have our first Malaysian team. We have 2 Indonesian teams. So AP's really ballooned. We have moved Russia into the AP group. Thank you so much for the 2 Russian teams for agreeing to this, simply because I needed one more into each of the groups. And then we have our usual multinational group, which is all the teams that say they have people from multiple countries, plus a few helpful American teams who said they'll be happily playing multiple time zones. So we'll go through the breakdown with this in a few minutes, but just to remind everyone the format here.
Because we can hear the people cry, but 12 groups, how will Top Cut work with this?
And the answer is, I'll talk about it in a minute.
Yes.
let's just go through the format first. So we're going to start this week at the end of today, at 11:30 GMT. The KOTE directory site will go live with the decks on there, the groups and the pairings for the first round. Everyone has until Monday GMT to submit their results for the first game.
We've had a posture check, so you need to realign yourself.
Oh, okay, fine. I'll lean back comfortably. I'll check see if my camera still works. So then, also by Tuesday, you must submit your deck for the following round. There is a form on the KOTE directory. You can submit all the decks you want for the entire event today. We don't reveal the decks until the Tuesday, that is the start of the round. And that's also done by Magic. It's 11:30 PM GMT. Every Tuesday we release the pairings and the decks.
And you have to the end of the round, so midday GMT on Monday, to submit your deck for the next round. If you don't submit a deck for the next round, you will be locked in with the deck you're using in this round.
That's true for the SAS Climb Up, yes, for the group stages and the playoffs.
Yeah.
However, for the
Climb up and climb down.
Well, we can't do it for the climb down because then people will have a more stronger deck than they're allowed to have.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But we'll do is we'll pull in the deck they used previously if there's one available, and if there's not one available, you will just probably be forced to drop.
Well, we'll find a way of punishing people there, but yeah, essentially we'll just chase you until you give us a deck at that point.
Yeah. Thank you, Matthew, for
Thank
subscribing.
you for the prime.
That makes a huge difference for everyone who subscribes to us. That is how we'll be doing it this time. Now let's go through the bit that Brett alluded to. That is a little bit more complicated this time, and it helps if I already have switched screens.